fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From Arbitration. It's going to be a short episode. Mr. Noble was going to be on, so I was planning on having him on today, and he had something come up last second, and so I'm going to have him on tomorrow, and so I'm going to come on here and just talk about a few things. I got a tribute to a friend I'm going to do, somebody very special to me, and so I'm going to do a tribute to him, and we'll just talk about a few things. All right, how's that sound? So I can have something put up tonight since I didn't do one last week. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and a very safe and wonderful holiday season. Next Sunday, I'm going to be on Ron Speakman's Fed Up, and we've been talking. It's going to be raw. And so he's going to talk to me about Director of City Delivery, kind of my philosophy, where I'm coming from, things that I want to see done, things that will be done. All right. And so we're going to talk about that and whatever he wants to ask me. I know he's got some questions he's been wanting to ask. I think some people have sent in some questions that they're going to ask me, and I will be blunt. I'll be as blunt as I can be. If they ask me something, I'm going to answer it wherever it is. And so, yeah, I'm going to be on his podcast next week. I'll probably try to pirate that, hijack that, and put it up on From Arbitration once he's put that up. And so that will be next Sunday. All right, so I'll have Mr. Noble on tomorrow. I'll be on Ron Speakman's Fed Up next Sunday. And then we'll go from there. It's the new year. You're going to hear a lot about the CLC coming up this new year. The CLC will be everywhere. They're going all over the country, getting out there, and you'll hear the rest of the ticket. And so there's going to be exciting times for the city letter carrier, because the CLC is the city letter carrier, and I can't wait. We're going to have a good time. CCA Corner with Badmouth Morris, that will be Wednesday. All right, that will go up Wednesday. I believe that they have a new podcast themselves. They're going to put the episodes up still on From Arbitration, but I also believe they're going to, because I want them to have that themselves. I want that to be theirs. I want nothing to do with it, because it's for CCAs by CCAs. There's been a lot of response about that CCA Corner. A lot of CCAs wanting to get on there. And so if you get on from arbitration.com, I believe Mallory's going to have an email for you to reach out to her, and that way you can be on the CCA Corner. And that's going to be wildly popular. It already is. So many people have reached out about that. And so I appreciate Badmouth taking his time to do that. Mallory and Cole for taking that over for me. They're doing the editing and all that. So that's their baby. And that's exactly the way I want it. And because I believe the CCAs, like I've said years ago when I started this thing, we've got to take care of our CCAs, which your president hasn't done. He is shit all over y'all. Y'all have got to unite. You've got to stand up together. And I think this is just the beginning of that, the CCA Corner. And you've been completely disrespected by this administration that's in office. And that's the reason I can't wait for the CLC to come back in there, because the NALC will be turned back over to the city letter carrier. They're going to take back over the NALC under the CLC, the concerned letter carriers. And it's going to be run by the union. It's going to be run by city letter carriers like it should be. And y'all pay those people's salaries, and you're not going to pay people's salary to shit on you. That makes no sense whatsoever. That I'm going to pay your salary to shit all over me. That doesn't make sense. And so those things will change in 26. Until then, we will get the CCA Corner up and running, and we will get those CCAs united, and so that they will get out the vote and vote these motherfuckers out in 26, okay? And so I'm excited about that. All these new podcasts coming up. It's fantastic. I don't think there can be enough educating. I'm not like the NALC. When I first started this, I immediately got blackballed because they want to do their own education. They want to have that, what we was talking about, that gatekeeper type mentality. And they're going to hand you little bits at a time, just enough to get by. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Whatever I know, I want y'all to know. Not that I know everything, but whatever I know, I want y'all to know. I think that's only wise. And that will change also in 26. But immediately got blackballed by the NALC because of this podcast. Those people that I used to run with no longer talk to me. Fuck them. But yeah, the more podcasts, the better. The more education, the better. And so John Murphy has a new one that's come out. And if you get on from arbitration.com, Mallory has put all these links up to all of these podcasts on from arbitration.com. That way you will be able to find those easily, okay? And John Murphy's is called Next Generation Carriers podcast. Next Generation Carriers podcast. And so I believe that link will be up on from arbitration.com. Listen to that cat. He does a lot of great stuff. You also got a lot of other podcasts where the link is up there. You know I love Richie Ray. He's got great stuff going on. And those others that we've talked about in the past. And so you can't have enough. I wish there was 100 of them, right? I wish there was 100 of them educating our people. Don't forget about the T-shirt sales. I believe we've just made another deposit to the MDA off of our T-shirt sales. Those things are public record. It's a nonprofit, so we don't make a penny off of that. Every penny goes to MDA, and I believe that we have just had another payment to the MDA, things that we've collected. So make sure you're getting your From 8 Arbitration shirts. They get on to me all the time because I forget to say that. And so get on from 8arbitration.com, get your From 8 Arbitration shirts, all right? And wear those proudly around your business agents, your branch presidents, Renfro, Barner, both those bitches. Make sure you got your From 8 Arbitration shirts on when you go around them to let y'all know y'all ain't fucking around, okay? And so Concerned Letter Carriers. If you go on concernedlettercarriers.com, their merchandise is up there as well. I'll say our merchandise because I'm part of the CLC. Get as much as that as you can because those profits will help us when we have to travel. And I think Mr. Speakman and I will talk a little bit about that coming up next Sunday. And so those profits will help because it's very costly when you run an election. Very costly. And so that will help the CLC if you get on concernedlettercarriers.com. Whatever you can contribute. If you want to buy merchandise, it's up there, and everything will be muchly appreciated, okay? I've got a few shout-outs that I'm going to do that people have sent. This person says, I've got a shout-out for you to read at your leisure. I like that. To Mark Weddle, Union Steward, Branch 82, Portland, Oregon, St. John Station. His hard work, tenacity, and compassion has completely transformed our station over the past several years. We went from having no steward to having a management stooge to being extremely well represented by Mark. We used to be a hated red-headed stepchild station where everyone was itching to bid out, and now we're a group of educated, tight-knit carriers who don't take shit from management. While nationwide our union has gone to shit, the past few years, St. John's carriers have experienced much, much better solidarity and working conditions. Thanks, Mark. So absolutely. Man, I love that. That's fucking awesome. And so all it takes is that one steward that will come in. There may be some hard times initially. People don't trust you. You have this old way of thinking. Don't cause management to get upset. Don't cause them to get angry. Fuck management. Fuck them getting upset. We got a job to do as stewards, and that's protect our people, right? We're the shepherds, not the sheep herders. And so good for you, man, to step into that and take control of that station, get your carriers united, and y'all will have it made now. Now, they may try to come in and bust y'all up like they do our station every decade, but you'll whip that ass easily since y'all are united. So good for you, man. So here's another one. It says, hey, Corey, first off, God bless you for all you do for us city letter carriers. You're a blessing in disguise. Absolutely, my man. Real shit. Second, can you please give a huge shout out to Branch President Steve Sampsell? He has helped me out tremendously, even before I became a steward. And so there you have it. Second, can you please give a shout out to Branch President Steve Sampsell, who's helped me out tremendously, even before I became a steward. So Mr. Samsel, I thank you, my brother, for doing what you're supposed to be doing as that branch president. We've got so many branch presidents that have caved in across this country to cowardice. And I see it. As a matter of fact, I just answered an email about 10 minutes ago, somebody saying that their branch president isn't doing a damn thing for them. They're getting run over by management. The person that they have in formal aid don't know shit, don't help, don't want to get educated, don't want to help anybody out. And so it's completely frustrating to see all these messages from across the country as far as branch presidents not doing shit. And so I love seeing those that do. And so Steve Samsel, branch president, there's your shout out, my brother. And I appreciate you for standing up for the city letter carrier. We need many, many, many more just like you. Hey, Corey, I'd like to make a shout out to our newly elected stewards in Branch 22. Both are hungry and ready to fight our toxic working environment and finally bring the fighting spirit back into our office. So there you have it, Branch 22. You got two young lions that have come in there and ready to take on the toxic working environment. And that's going to be something I do on day one. As Director of City Delivery, we're going to address the toxic working environment. We will be full bore. 100 miles an hour in these motherfuckers' asses on day one. The toxic working environment, and I'll talk about that with Ron Speakman next week, the things we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Hey, Corey, can you give a shout out to Jeff Krula from Branch 4374 for stepping up to be the badass steward that he is once again? He got inspiration from your podcast and now have another steward who is willing to clack the bottles on management with me. I love that shit. I love to see that shit right there, man. Clacking them motherfucking bottles on management. And that's how we will be. Starting in 26, we will be the alphas again. I'm telling you, they have no idea what's coming in 26 with the CLC, with James Henry, and the things he's going to implement and setting me loose on these motherfuckers across the country. So I'm going to read that again. I like that. Hey, Corey, can you give a shout out to Jeff Krula from Branch 4374 for stepping up to be the badass steward that he is once again? He got inspiration from your podcast, and now I have another steward who is willing to clack the bottles on management with me. There you go, my brother. There's your shout out. Clack them fucking bottles on the motherfuckers and let them know every day they come in there, that's their ass. Every day. You want to bring that toxic shit in here? Fine. We'll address it. We'll bury these motherfuckers, man. We'll bury these. They'll be working on grievance all damn day. And I said that a couple of years ago. They'll be working on grievances all damn day if that's what they want. We will oblige them. We'll get into that with Ron Speakman. All right, that's the shout-outs that I have for today. Now, if I've missed anybody's shout-outs, please get with me. Send me something, okay? And I'm trying to get to most of them. I've got my Titan email, like I said, was screwed up, so Mallory has taken over that, and she's shooting me messages off of that. And so I'm sure there's a backlog on that. It's probably driving her crazy. But and I love Mallory for what she's done from AJ Arbitration and the things she's continuing to do just to help city letter carriers. And so I can't thank her enough for that. Let's talk about a couple other things. I'm going to give my tribute to my friend last. Let's talk about the vote. It's going on as we speak. A lot of people don't have ballots. They're coming in. And so you see a lot of people on social media voting yes, voting no. However you vote, that's your business. I've made it perfectly clear how I feel. I think that it's shit. I think it's an embarrassment to the city letter carrier craft. I think that our president is an embarrassment to the city letter carrier craft. The shit that he's done. I'm going to read something to you, and then I'll talk a little bit about the things that I've seen. I don't know that I will influence anybody one way or the other, and that's all right. That's all right. A lot of people are set in their ways, have already voted however they feel, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But here's something that Renfro wrote a while back when it first started. The contract negotiations are moving closer to arbitration. NALC and USPS are in the process of selecting an arbitrator while negotiations continue. President Renfro said at the November wrap session, the NALC wants a single pay table with higher pays for starting and ending wages along with an all-career workforce. Renfro added, we, NALC, aren't going to accept anything less than a 9% salary increase. Now, that's your lying-ass president, right? Now, the motherfucker said he was lying because he was a drunk when all these charges came out with Weir. That he was lying to everybody because that's a side effect of being a fucking drunk, is that you can't tell the truth. You're dishonest. Motherfucker hadn't been honest since then. Since his sobriety. Since he's no longer intoxicated or reliant on alcohol. He hadn't told the truth yet, so what's his excuse now? He can't fucking tell the truth to the city letter carrier. He lies all the fucking time. He had an excuse back then, and the convention, those delegates bought that shit, even though he was lying to them there. Lied to their fucking face at the convention. He's still lying. The motherfuckers are still sticking up for him. What's his excuse? I'll read this again. Because y'all seen the TA now. It's come out after 600 days of this skilled negotiator negotiating for us. Right? Here's what this says. The contract negotiations are moving closer to arbitration. NALC and USPS are in the process of selecting an arbitrator while negotiations continue. They continue. President Renfro said at the November wrap session the NALC wants a single pay table. Didn't get that. With higher pay for starting, well, you got that. You got $1 or some change. You got some change, almost $1. And ending wages, along with an all-career workforce. Didn't get that. Renfro added, we aren't. That means are not. Aren't means are not. We are not going to accept anything less than a 9% salary increase. And that's your lying-ass president. Told us at the COP, if there's not an all-career workforce, it's a non-starter. It's a non-starter. We're either going to have an all-career workforce or it's a non-starter. That's what he told us to our faces, the city letter carriers. And it wasn't a damn month. Motherfucker came back and said, if we do have a contingent of CCAs, which means what? I lied to you. I lied to your face. Because you don't say, we're either going to have an all-career workforce as a non-starter. Because what happens then is, what I'm going to say, and JB said this perfectly when I was talking to the CLC, he goes back and he tells his contingent in our branch meetings, this is what the president has said to the members. It's an all-career workforce as a non-starter. So now all my CCAs are saying, thank God, finally. We have somebody going to stick up for us. It's an all-career workforce as a non-starter. We can go to arbitration on that. If we lose, we lose. But my president has decided to stand up finally and do something right finally. Maybe he is a skilled negotiator after all. And then not a month later, he comes back and he says, if we do have a contingent of CCAs, which means what? You have already conceded your position. You didn't last one fucking month with your skilled negotiating skills. Right? If you're a skillful negotiator, you lasted one damn month. So here's this dipshit going to tell us it's an all-career workforce as a non-starter. Same thing he wrote in this. Wrote that there. Then he comes back, well, if it's not an all-career workforce, if we do have a contingent of CCAs, you're already backtracked, you're already conceding your position, which is all you do. You've conceded every fucking thing we've got. They will come in with a substantial raise. So now JB goes back and he tells his contingent again at the branch meeting, look, he backtracked on us. Something must have happened. He backtracked on that. But he did say if we keep the CCA position, so just a contingent, if we keep a CCA position, don't worry. Y'all will come in with a substantial raise. That's what our president has told us. So he lied to us. We'll forgive him for that because he come back and he said he's going to give a substantial raise. That's what's going to happen. And they didn't even get $1. That's the substantial race this dumb shit said. He lied again. He cannot stop lying to the members. I don't know why. I have no idea why he continues to lie. Because he had an excuse before. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drunk. And so therefore I lie. So all these things I've been doing, I've been lying. Which calls into question all the things that he's been signing into effect since he was a drunk, 1982, 83, 84. Signed these things into effect as an alcoholic. I question those things. So anyway, with that in mind, when you go into the vote, I see a lot of people concerned about a lot of things. And they're saying, I voted yes because of all these things. One of the things was the back pay, right? You've waited me out 600 days, and now you're going to say you're going to get back pay on those 600 days. So they're going to give you what they were going to give you anyway. They're going to give you what you should have made, right? They're going to give you back pay because our contract was up 600 days ago. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give you that back pay, which you're due anyway, right? Now, we have negotiated it away before. Rolando negotiated it away one time. And so people are saying, hey, I just want the back pay. So I want to be rich for a day, right? I want to be rich for a day. Give me my back pay. I'll be rich for a day. 1.3 be damned. All this other shit. CCA's getting shit on. Loss of office time. Cap's gone. Uniform allowance to shit. Give me my back pay. I want to be rich for a day. I'm going to vote yes because I need that money. I want to be rich for a day. And so you had those people, right? You have those that are scared of arbitration. You see that over and over and over again. The uncertainty of arbitration, they're scared of it. And I get it. I mean, it's uncertainty. If that's what drives you is cowardice and fear, then vote yes, I guess, because of arbitration. And nobody can convince them otherwise. If you go to arbitration, you could lose everything we've ever accomplished. You could lose our COLAs. You could lose the back pay. you could lose everything. And so we're not going to vote no because of arbitration. We're just damn scared of it. We're just scared of arbitration. And so you have those people. You have those people talking about President Trump. President Trump's coming in, and some were saying that he will actually get involved with the negotiations. I saw that on social media. He will actually get involved with the negotiations. I think that we've done a terrible job of researching things as far as administrations. I don't believe that we should endorse anybody. I believe that we should say, hey, whoever's in office, we want to work with you. Republican, Democrat, Independent, whoever's in office, we'll reach out our hand. We want to work with you. I know that I saw Mr. O'Brien, the Teamsters president, talking the other day, and he said that with Harris, they had a questionnaire of 16 questions. She answered 4 of them, got up, and said she'll win with or without the Teamsters. And so that was her support for the union there. We'll win with or without you. I'm going to answer 4 of your 16 questions and get up. I think Biden did the same. And Trump answered all 16. He answered all 16 questions. He backed the dock workers when they were going to have to go on strike. He backed the dock workers. He did not back the corporation. He backed the dock workers. You saw that he appointed that pro-labor Republican as the Secretary of Labor. And so I think that we need to look at things before we decide things. Is he trying? Maybe. Can we gain some footing there? Maybe. I think we need to be in that office. We need to be talking to whoever's in that office. We need to be doing our research, right, as far as who's in the office. So I'm not afraid of any president. I'm not afraid of any president in their position. They talk about privatizing us. And give it to who? Who are they going to give it to? We're not profitable. What we do is not profitable. That's the reason we deliver UPS, FedEx, Amazon, DHL, or DHS. The reason we deliver those things the last mile is because there's no profit in it. We're not profitable. Do we make a lot of money? Yes, we make a lot of money. Do we overspend? Yes. Are we fat? Very much so. Can we make a very good living wage if they cut out all the fat? Yes. Yes, we could. We can make a lot of money if they'd cut out the fat. But to say they're privatizing us, who are they going to give it to? There's no profit to be made in the Postal Service. That's the reason it's called a service and not a business. It's mandated by Congress. It's a service for the people, by the people, to the people. We're self-sustaining. We're not a burden to the taxpayer. They're not bailing us out of anything because we are a service. We're free. Every day you can go out to your box and get mail out of it at no cost. There's no tax on that. We're going to do that free. We're a service. Therefore, being as we're a service, we're not meant to make a profit, which we do not. We're not profitable. It's not profitable to deliver those things to every human being in America, to every address, in every rural situation. There's no profit in it. So when you say they're going to privatize it, who are you going to give it to? Who's going to buy it? They say we're going to cut it up and give it to what? Who? Talking about Amazon. They give us their packages because it's not profitable. What is he going to do? UPS, I saw people talking about UPS and FedEx can do it better. They give us their packages. They don't want that business. So anyway, I don't get that argument, but hey, they're scared of it, and so they're going to vote yes. They're scared of arbitration, so they're going to vote yes. They want that back pay. I want to be rich for a day. So I'm going to vote yes. The arbitrator, they could take our colas from us. They could take our colas. And we lose out on that diet cola. And some have just said, hey, I'm going to get mine. To hell with everybody. I've actually seen that. Hey, I've got to get mine. I've got to take care of me. So I'm going to vote yes. I've got to get mine. You know, we could lose everything going to arbitration, everybody. We could lose everything. That is true. We could lose everything. But at the end of the day, who are we? Who are we? Not union. Fuck all them. Who are we? The city letter carrier. And what do we stand for now? Take the union out of it. I'm talking to city letter carriers. Who are we? We could lose everything, right? But who are we? My favorite movie is Braveheart. I talk about it all the time. I love referencing it because I think it's the ultimate badass movie. So, when they were fighting the first big fight, remember, and they rode up late with that face paint on, looking badass, and everybody was leaving because they were scared. And so he rides up on his horses with all his people, man. They got that blue face paint on, ready to kick the shit out of somebody, right? And he's looking around. He's like, where are y'all going? And they start talking about, hey, we're leaving. We're leaving. Why? There are too many. There are too many. We'll lose. We'll lose. So we're leaving because we may lose. Y'all remember that? If you've seen Braveheart, if you haven't seen Braveheart, go watch it. I've seen it 1,000 times. And he says, yes, we may lose. We may lose. You stay and fight, we may lose. We may die. That's what he says. And then he talks about, years from now, laying in your bed. What would you give to come back and fight for your freedom? This isn't quite to that level. But we may lose. Yeah, we may lose. You got all these things that people are scared of. Arbitration, Trump, things that we may lose. We may lose. Yes, we may lose. We may lose the 1.3% that's guaranteed to us. We may lose that. We may lose 1.3% if we go to arbitration. If we vote this down, we could lose that 1.3%. We sure the hell could. We could lose that diet cola. We could lose that. Arbitrator could take that from us. If we if we stayed to fight and not run and vote yes? If we vote no and we stay and fight, we could lose that Diet Cola. We may lose the ability to work 24 hours a day, like this new contract will give us by taking the caps off that 12 and 60. We may lose the right to work 24 hours a day. We may lose the right to work ourselves to fucking death. We may lose that few dollars on that clothing allowance too. Right? Y'all see that huge lump we're going to get on the clothing allowance? We may lose that if we go to arbitration. We may lose the 33 minutes of fixed office time if we go to arbitration. We may lose that. True enough. Wait a minute. We're losing that with this one, right? With this new MOU, we're losing that. The 33 minutes of fixed office time is going down to 20. So we may lose the 33 minutes of fixed office time if we go to arbitration. We may lose the strong language that they're bringing forward on non-compliance. We may lose that language. Wait a minute. We didn't get anything on non-compliance. There is no language on non-compliance. That was never addressed. One of the biggest concerns, biggest issues we have as a city letter carrier craft. I'm not talking to the union. I'm talking to the city letter carrier. One of the biggest concerns we have is non-compliance of our grievances that we file. Non-compliance. We may lose the strong language that your bitch-ass president came into agreement with his counterpart. That's right. There was no fucking language on non-compliance. We may lose the strong language that both parties came into agreement with on the toxic working environment and how to address it. We may lose that if we vote no and go to arbitration. We may lose that strong language that your bitch-ass president and his counterpart came into agreement with on the toxic working environment that we deal with every fucking day, on these hostile managers that we deal with every fucking day, the game plan that they came up with together in this new TA about how to deal with those managers. We may lose that if we vote no and go to arbitration. We may lose that. You didn't get anything on that either because of this skilled negotiator we have. We may lose all of those things if we go to arbitration. Who are we? At the end of the day, as city letter carriers, who are we? We afraid of losing all that stuff? If we go to arbitration and fight for ourselves, your president wants you to be a chicken shit like he is. That's what he wants. Your president wants you to be a cowardly motherfucker like he is. Who are we? Your executive vice president, he wants you to be a chicken shit like he is. He wants you to be a cowardly motherfucker like him and vote this thing yes, so they don't have to fight for us. It's the easy way out. They'll tell you things trying to fearmonger you. Who are we? As city letter carriers at the end of the day. Who are we? Your MBAs? I've heard a lot of them. Your MBAs want you to be chicken shits like they are. They want you to be cowardly motherfuckers like they are and accept this old bullshit TA because it means they don't have to fight. They can be cowardly like they are now. Who are we? Who are we? Your RAAs, your RGAs going around telling people what we may lose. We may lose 1.3%. We may lose our Diet Colas. Fuck y'all, man. Who are we? As city letter carriers, remove the fucking union. They're going to sell this shit to y'all because they don't want to fight. Who are we as city letter carriers? Your branch presidents will try to sell this old bullshit, want y'all to be cowardly motherfuckers like they are, want y'all to be chicken shits like they are, because they've been handed down the memo from y'all's bitch-ass president about this TA. The same motherfucker that said, hey, if we don't get 9%, it's a non-starter. Here's what he says. We aren't going to accept anything less than 9% salary increase. That's your president raising his hands up. We're not going to accept anything less than a 9% salary increase, and he wants you to accept shit now. What happened to that motherfucker? He wants you to accept shit now. Here's what you do. Here's what you do, Mr. President. Since you're such a fucking skillful negotiator, let me tell you how to skillfully negotiate. First off, you don't lie to your members like you keep doing. You're a piece of shit for doing that. But if you tell me an all-career workforce or a non-starter, right? If that's what you tell me, if that's what you tell everybody, it's going to be an all-career workforce or that's a non-starter. Do you know what non-starter means? It's not going to start. We're not going to even go any further than that. If I can't get an all-career workforce, if I can't get an all-career workforce, there's no sense talking anymore. That's what non-starter means, Mr. President. So you go in with your counterpart and you say, hey, look, before we get started, here's something I got to tell you. I have told my people that we're either going to have an all-career workforce or that's a non-starter. And then your counterpart, he's going to say, well, I can't do that. Then you're going to say, well, all I got is my word to my people. I'm the president of the baddest motherfuckers walking, the city letter carrier. And so since you can't do that for me, I'm going to keep my word to the city letter carrier, the word that I gave them, saying that if you can't do that, it's a non-starter. So, sir, shake my hand here. We'll see y'all in arbitration because my word, that's all I've got. Now, your word don't mean shit because we've seen it over and over and over again. Ask Mr. Gary Lang up north. When you double-crossed him with that MOU about these S&DCs, the LMOUs, the gaining installations, you went back on a signed document on him. That's how much your word means. Your name didn't even mean nothing to you, brother. And you're trying to sell me some shit. You're a lying motherfucker, man. That's all you'll ever be to me. You're a lying piece of shit. That's all you'll ever be to me. You have fucked over my CCAs, lying to them. We may lose all of that, but who are we? As a city letter carrier, who are we? Is this what we deserve? A president who can't even tell the fucking truth to us? Do we deserve to be lied to by the very president who runs this union? Is that what we deserve? Do we deserve 1.3%? Y'all think that? Who are we? At the end of the day, seriously, who are we? We're city motherfucking letter carriers, man. We are motherfucking light blue. And we need to start acting like it. We have no leadership right now, but we have a vote. We have a vote, and we will not vote by cowardice like our president wants us to because he's a bitch-ass coward. We will not vote by cowardice like our executive vice president wants us to because he's a bitch-ass coward. We will not vote by cowardice like some of these MBAs and RAAs and RGAs and branch presidents want us to do because they're bitch-ass cowards. We will not be that way, city letter carriers. Who are we? We need to start standing up together and telling both sides, fuck off. We deserve better. We may lose it all. Sure enough. We stand and fight. We stand and fight, man. We may lose all of it. And I'll be arm in arm with you, shoulder to shoulder with you, hand in hand with you, fighting these motherfuckers, man, on both fucking sides. I will be there, standing in the fucking front, right? Who are we? We're the baddest motherfuckers there is. To me. I know what we do every day. I do it. I'll be doing it tomorrow. I know what we do every day. We deserve better than this administration we have right now with that cowardly motherfucker we have as a president, that bitch motherfucker we have as an executive vice president. We deserve better than that. We deserve better than some of these business agents who are cowardly motherfuckers themselves. We deserve better than that. We deserve better than this bitch-ass TA. We deserve better than that. We need to understand who we are. We're the baddest motherfuckers there are. We need to start acting like it, all right? Here's a tribute to a friend, a close friend. When you think about union, when I think about union, I think of certain names. They come to mind. And this one would be at the top. This one would be at the top of what a union's supposed to be like if that was a person. I talked about Richie Ray in the past. AJ Breaux, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Here's a tribute to you, my friend. He is retired as of last week. He is retired. A monster in the NALC. A fucking beast in the NALC. I've learned so much from AJ Breaux in my times with him. I first met AJ Breaux December 12th, 2013. I first met AJ Breaux December 12th, 2013. And how do I know that? Because I had an arbitration in Lake Charles December 13th, 2013 with arbitrator Lawrence Roberts. I got a phone call from Bill Bothwell, who worked at National at the time, and he sent me to Lake Charles. I didn't even know where Lake Charles was at. And it was a window of operation case, and these cases were coming up all over the place. And so he calls me and says, hey, we're going to send you down to Lake Charles, and we want you to handle this window of operation case. Now, they had just lost an arbitration on a technicality. It was in front of Halter, I believe it was, and I'm going to read it here in just a second. But on a technicality, they lost a case, a window of operation case, so they're sending me down there. Not that the other advocate wasn't any good. It's just a technicality we got beat on. And so I meet Mr. AJ Breaux December 12th, 2013. And he's kind of the godfather of Southern Louisiana. And quickly learned to love this guy. His passion for the city letter carrier, his knowledge of the contract, especially Article 8 and noncompliance, he had it down pat. I'm going to read this decision. This is from Arbitrator Roberts. This is my first time going down to Lake Charles. And this is the decision that Arbitrator Roberts gave us. And it was kind of funny. The hearing was funny because I got blindsided with something and could feel myself passing out. Could feel myself falling out of my chair because I worked on this case religiously. If National calls says, hey, we're going to send you somewhere, you don't want to fuck that up, right? I looked at this case front to back. It was a huge case now. It had hundreds of decisions. I looked at this case, all of these clock rings, the 3996s, all the past decisions. I read, and if there's 20 B-team decisions, I read every line of every one. I want to get something out of there. If there's 100 B-team decisions, I read every sentence of every single one. I don't just brush over that. I read every piece of the case file. So I read this summit. I had it memorized because you don't want to let National down, right? So I go down there, meet Mr. AJ Breaux. We talk a long time, and then we go to hearing. And so management initially comes up with a procedural issue, and I'll just read the decision. It says, award summary. Now, this decision came out January 9th of 2014. The union alleges a violation of Article 8.5, alleging the improper assignment of overtime on 13 April 2012. The evidence in this case was overwhelming in favor of the union. The employer was unable to prove the existence of a window of operation or any other exception that would allow such assignments to non-ODL letter carriers to be made. The grievance is sustained and the requested remedy is granted. And then you have some background, and then the union's position. The union contends the instant grievance is a contract case dealing with management continued and blatant violations of Article 8 and 15 of the Joint Contract Administration Manual at the Lake Charles installation. The union claims there to be a staggering volume of precedent-setting Step B decisions that have been violated. It is the contention of the union that the service at this installation is continually forcing non-overtime desired list carriers into an overtime status when letter carriers on the overtime desired list were available to do that work. The union insists the facts of this case will show the employer has violated the parties' agreement on a continuous and egregious basis. The record, according to the union, will identify an overwhelming amount of past decisions, which total some 54 precedent-setting Step B decisions and some 32 pre-arbitration decisions. The union points out that a window of operations does not exist at the Lake Charles installation. As a remedy, the union makes several requests, first being that a final cease and desist order be issued. Secondly, the union asks that all carriers not on the ODL that were forced to work overtime on the days in question shall be granted administrative leave. Next, it is requested by the union that all carriers on the ODL that were available to do the work that non-ODL carriers were forced to work shall be paid that equivalent at the overtime rate. The union then asked that some 11 letter carriers be awarded $1,000 for management's noncompliance and repeated and blatant violations of Articles 8, 15, and 1517. And lastly, the union requests management be ordered to abide by Article 8.5G and maximize those letter carriers on the ODL to a full 12 hours before requiring letter carriers not on the ODL to work 1 second of overtime. Additionally, the union also requests the service be ordered to cease and desist from implementing its window of operation at the Lake Charles installation. Company's position. The employer insists there is no violation of the parties' agreement in this instant case. A similar grievance, according to management, had been previously denied by another arbitrator. It is the claim of the agency that this case is similar in facts to that previous case that was already denied. The employer claims the union's case lacks facts, that being a showing of who was available to work the overtime. According to the service, the chief complaint of the union in this matter is that a part-time flexible employee worked overtime. Management points out the language relied upon by the union does not apply to part-time flexible employees. It is the position of management that there is no employer violation of the parties' agreement in this instant case, and accordingly, it is requested the grievance be denied in its entirety. The issue, did management violate Articles 8 of the National Agreement or prior Step B decisions or M1517 when non-ODL work assignment carriers were mandated to work overtime prior to fully utilizing available ODL carriers and TE carriers at the Lake Charles installation? If so, what is the appropriate remedy? And here's this discussion and findings. And I'll talk a little bit about this first part because it's funny. This instant grievance involves an allegation by the union of the improper assignment of overtime. The union argues that another non-ODL letter carrier was improperly assigned work that should have first been made available to those letter carriers on the ODL list for the second quarter of 2012. Contained in the Joint 2 grievance package is a history of letter carriers working beyond the maximums defined by the parties' agreement. More specifically, the record shows some 54 Step B settlements, as well as some 32 pre-arbitration settlements regarding overtime assignments at this location. And with that in mind, it is clear the instant grievance does not represent an unfamiliar argument by and between these local parties. In their opening statement, the employer argued this instant grievance was a mirror image of a similar grievance previously decided by arbitrator Patrick Halter, and he has a little insert from that Halter's decision. However, the facts and circumstances of this instant case are clearly not the same that faced arbitrator Halter in the above decision. Differing in this instant case is the fact the Step A team reflects the following: relevant and undisputed facts. In pertinent part stating, evidence in the case file reflects there were 13 letter carriers on the overtime desired list, ODL, during quarter 2 of the year 2012 and 5 on the work assignment list. It goes on to list names of the specific letter carriers in the respective groups. Furthermore, management contends there was no overtime violation on this date and thus there is no payable remedy. And furthermore, in the Step 3 decision, management's reason for impasse includes the relevant facts in this case are not in substantial dispute. There is no dispute that carriers not on the overtime desired list were scheduled to carry mail on overtime on the day in the case file at the Lake Charles main office. At the hearing, management raised the contention that the overtime assignment that day was worked by a part-time flexible employee, and if that was the case, the union's argument in this instance becomes moot. Now here's what happened. So we get into the hearing. Now we're first, right? We're going to put our case on first, but they're always going to talk about arbitrability issues, threshold issues, anything like that initially. The arbitrator will say, do either parties have any issues before we get started? And so management, they bring in a specialist from Texas. And I'm going against her. And she says, we have an arbitrability issue. This case is a moot point because the union is trying to pay a part-time flexible, a PTF, who's not on they're not on the overtime desired list. So they have no protections. So she says, you go to page so-and-so to this tax clock ring. The code at this right here shows, I forget what it is, 84 or something like that. They're not full-time. They're part-time flexibles. So they can't grieve anything. So I see that, and I'm like, motherfucker, she's right. I've not seen it. It was not raised in the case file. At informal, formal, B team, nobody raised that issue. And so I'm looking, I was like, motherfucker. It does say that. I feel myself falling out of my chair. I'm like, God, I lost this motherfucker before it even started. So I didn't know Arbitrator Roberts hardly at all. I've had a few cases. This was 2013. I started in 2012. And so I know I look like somebody hit me on the head with a board. And so he looks at me. He says, Mr. Walton, I said, this is the first I'm seeing that. He said, you mean this wasn't raised initially? I said, this is the first I'm hearing of that. I said, I can get Mr. AJ Breaux in here and he'll clear that up. He said, no need to do that. He looks back over at her and he says, is this a new argument raised by you at right now? And she's like, well, yeah. He said, well, no, you can't raise that here. And so I could feel my senses coming back to me. But yeah, hell, I didn't even see that. I'm talking about I looked at this case for 100 hours, going over every fucking line, and I didn't see that. That tax clock ring showed it was a PTF. What happened was they were having an issue where management wasn't putting them in the tax clock rings for their proper code. They had been having an issue with that in the past. This was one of those that they had to get resolved. So at the time, it still showed that he was a PTF, but he wasn't. He was a full-time letter carrier, and that's what AJ told me later because I went out and I said, damn, baby. I said, they came in there saying he's a PTF. He said, no, he's not a PTF. So he could have cleared that up easily. But when she said that, I just remember looking at that like, fuck, I lost this motherfucker, didn't get started. But anyway, that's why you pay attention to every fucking thing. And I missed that one and damn near passed out. But anyway, so it says that the hearing management raised the contention that the overtime assignment that day was worked by a part-time flexible employee. And if that was the case, the union's argument in this instant case becomes moot. Instead, I'm of the considered opinion that this was new argument presented by the employer not until this arbitration hearing. First, I could find no such PTF argument made in the case file, either in the Step A or Step B writing. Additionally, I could find no evidence in the case file that would identify the employee in question as being classified as a part-time flexible on the date in question. While the employer advocate insisted that the employee everything report found on page 40 of the Joint Exhibit 2 identified the carrier as being a PTF, there was no other association found in this file that would relate that particular employee as that of a PTF. Furthermore, the employer witness did not make any mention of the non-overtime desired list employee being a part-time flexible employee. Furthermore, the union's evidence in opposition to the employer's argument far outweighed that of the service. The crux of the employer defense was that of a window of operation. However, other than a mention by name only, I could find no other evidence in this case file or witness testimony that would indicate or even suggest the presence of any type of window of operation in existence at this Lake Charles facility. and the record clearly shows the supposed window of operation was often and regularly violated. As I've stated before in past decisions regarding overtime assignments, a window of operation could be a valid defense of the employer based on the circumstances evolving around the specific case at hand. However, prior to that window of operation defense being considered, the employer must first show the existence of such a policy at that particular facility. However, in this case, other than the mention of a window of operation being in place, there was simply no evidence in this case file that would indicate or even suggest that such a policy was ever in place at this Lake Charles facility. The mere claim of the existence of a window of operation is simply not enough to qualify such as a defense. For even if that were the case, each and every overtime claim made by the union could conceivably be dismissed due to an alleged window of operation being in place. However, that should never be the case on the basis of a mere assumption. The prerequisite to a window of operation defense is either documented proof of its existence or credible testimony indicating that everyone at the facility was aware of its existence. And in addition to that would be a requisite sampling of time records to show a consistent compliance. However, at any rate, none of that occurred in this instant case. With that being said, I was convinced there was clearly an Article 8 overtime assignment violation as alleged by the union in this matter. Secondly, I was convinced by the case file itself that this has been an ongoing issue at this facility. And with that reasoning, the instant grievance is granted. The employer argued there to be no violation of the parties' agreement and therefore no payable remedy, and to that end, I respectfully disagree. The violation was clear, and there was no reason provided by the employer that would allow them to circumvent the language of 8.5 regarding the assignment of such overtime being assigned. Since there was no objection to the union's requested remedy by the employer, it shall be granted with one exception. Item 5 is reduced from $1,000 to $500. Otherwise, the requested remedy found on pages 29 and 30 of the Joint Exhibit 2 is granted as modified below, which states management and Lake Charles installation must cease and desist from future violations of Article 8, Section 5 of the National Agreement. Otherwise, an escalated monetary award may be awarded for the future violations. 2. The following letter carriers shall each be paid a lump sum payment equivalent to 8 hours at the overtime rate. 3. The following non-ODO letter carriers shall be paid 100% of their base pay or granted compensatory time off in the form of administrative leave, whichever is most acceptable to the employee. 4. The following carriers on the 1012 ODL shall be paid the following lump sum payment. 5. The following carriers shall be awarded $500, reduced from the requested $1,000 each for management's noncompliance and repeated and blatant violations of Articles 8, 15, and 1517. And there it is. And so that was my first interaction with Mr. Breaux. He did a fantastic job. I had an episode about Mr. Breaux long ago talking about escalated monetary awards. I learned most of my stuff from him. Window of operation, my first interaction with that was with Mr. Breaux. Such a substantial case file with past decisions. My first experience with Mr. AJ Breaux. Getting such a large compensatory remedy. My first experience with Mr. AJ Breaux. And so that went from $500, and Pete Moss would send me down there regularly over these same instances, and it escalated to $1,000 per violation per carrier. So right off the jump, if it was one carrier working 30 minutes off assignment, every carrier in the station got $1,000. That was $35,000 right off the jump before we even got into the violations and who was going to be paid. So every carrier got $1,000. So most of what I learned on noncompliance, 8.5G, window of operation, I did entire episodes on that. Most of that came from AJ Breaux and working with him, a complete expert, if there ever was one, on noncompliance, how to put a case file together. A lot of these B teams talking, I see a lot of shit about B teams say, don't put arbitration decisions in your case files. He would do that, not not his decisions, but arbitrators' decisions. Persuasive value at the formal A, and I see nothing wrong with that. I thought his case files were masterful, beautifully done. And so one of the baddest sayings ever was from AJ Breaux, and I tell people all the time, it was a cold-blooded statement about management on the workroom floor. And what happened was they were getting $1,000 per carrier. And so labor and the union come together. This isn't AJ. This is above him. And all these cases are going to put on hold. There's 90 cases or something like that. I can't remember how many it was. And so AJ goes in and they're saying, we're going to hold all these cases and they're going to come to some kind of resolution on all these cases, right? It's an astronomical amount of cases. So AJ comes back into this station, walks across the floor as the branch president, going to meet on these cases. And he goes in and he says, all right, what is the resolution? What are we going to do? And so this new manager, a little smart ass, he says, they're untimely now. And AJ says, excuse me? These are all untimely. He says, hang on just a second. Y'all sat down with us above me to talk about some kind of resolution on all these. He said, don't care. I'm calling them untimely. AJ said, that's fine, brother. That's fine. He's walking across the floor, right? Somebody yells out, hey, AJ, what's up with these grievances? He said, I'm finna get y'all paid. And this guy says, I'm going to go get some new rims for my car. And AJ turns around, he stops, and he turns around, and he says, hey, go get the expensive ones. And turns around and walks back out right in front of that fucking manager's face. So I thought that was one of the coldest fucking statements ever. If you're going to get rims, baby, get the expensive ones because I'm fixing to get you motherfuckers paid. And he did. And that dude had to come back, apologize to him, and they resolved every single one of those cases. I can't remember the hundreds of thousands of dollars it ended up being. It was an astronomical amount of money. But just the cold-blooded nature of that, to walk across the floor and somebody say, I'm going to get some rims, and stopping and turn around in front of that bitch-ass manager saying, hey, go get the expensive ones. I thought that, that manager's like, this motherfucker here. But that's AJ Breaux to me. The consummate NALC personality. That dude there, we have lost a titan with AJ Breaux retiring. A fucking titan for the NALC. And he knows I love him very much. He's like a brother to me. He's taught me so much about so many things. And everywhere I go, man, and I know he's there, I look for him, try to find him. And so I can hug his neck. But there's a tribute to my friend, a beast in the NALC, a fucking legend. And he will always be a legend to me. And that's how I'll talk about him in any circle that I'm in. Anybody that knows me that talks about AJ Breaux, I say the same damn thing. A fucking legend, a beast, a titan. Exactly what the NALC to me is supposed to be like. Not this cowardly bullshit we're dealing with right now with this punk-ass president and executive vice president. AJ to me is, like I said, he's the consummate NALC personality. Exactly how you should be, how we're going to get back to being. No holds barred, hold management accountable. You're going to pay my people regardless of whatever you say the financial situation of this postal service is in. You have an obligation to us under the Joint Contract Administration Manual to abide by this contract that you've agreed to. And so if you don't, I'm going to hold your ass accountable financially. I'm not concerned about your financial situation, like these bitches at the top with Barner running around telling people no more cease and desist. You're cutting out the piece of the pie. Fuck your pie, bitch. These people need to understand where we are as the union, that we don't give a fuck what y'all are losing. That's y'all's fault. You will abide by this agreement. If not, we will punish the shit out of you however we have to do it. And AJ Breaux, numero uno in doing that. Numero uno in doing that. That's what I was raised on, is that. And that's what we'll be getting back to. Anybody anybody in any business agent's office, in any position, taking on that bitch-ass attitude of no more cease and desist, you'll be gone. You'll be gone. You motherfuckers go back to carrying mail. You have no business representing city letter carriers if you're a bitch. But I'll get into that with Mr. Speakman next week, all right? So, Mr. AJ Breaux, I love you. I love you. You're a brother to me. And I thank you for teaching me so much. You have taught me so much, my man. So much. And all of those episodes on window of operation, escalated monetary rewards, all of those episodes, anybody gaining any kind of knowledge from that, anybody using anything on that, it's because of you. It's not because of me. It's because of AJ Breaux. So any wins based off of those episodes, thank AJ Breaux. Any wins based off of window of operation, escalated monetary rewards, how we're going to defeat those, how we're going to ask for that escalated monetary reward, anything that we win based off of those episodes, it's 100% due to AJ Breaux. Because that's who taught me. That's who taught me. And so I've been down there on several other grievances, dealing with several other things, and we've won every single one. I've never lost an arbitration down there in Lake Charles and the surrounding area, those that he's been involved with. I've not lost a one. And we've dealt with numerous things down there. Transfers, we've dealt with those before. Residual mail in the DPS, dealt with those things. I could go on and on and on. I have never lost in Lake Charles, and it's because of AJ Breaux. His knowledge of the contract, second to none. His ability to put a case file together, second to none. He's a legend to me and somebody I will always look up to. Whatever position I'm in, I will always look up to and respect AJ Breaux. All right? So there's my tribute to a friend, a brother, AJ. Enjoy your retirement. If anybody in the country deserves to have a happy retirement, man, it's because of you and because of what you've done for my people. What you've done for us, the time you have spent, the hundreds of thousands of hours you have spent defending your people down there in southern Louisiana, Lake Charles area. You deserve every bit of your retirement, my man, and every bit of happiness, and I hope it's the longest retirement in history. All right? I love you. I love you deeply. All right? So y'all take care. Have a fantastic day. Tomorrow, I have Mr. Noble on tomorrow night. And then next Sunday, we're going to get funky. We're going to get raw with Ron Speakman. Okay? You're going to know my position on a lot of things. Okay? And so I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, Mr. Noble. All right?